Welcome to the AI Beehive Podcast, Real Estate and Mortgage Pros. This is your buzz for smarter tech, faster deals, and less grind. Let's get started.
Well, hey there. Welcome to another episode of the AI Beehive Podcast. My name is Ginger Bell, and I have my super host with me, George Chevalier. Hey, George.
Hey, I'm excited to be here, especially with Jon, because ROAM is honestly one of the smartest platforms I've seen in how it reimagines collaboration and productivity. Jon, good to see you.
Great to be here, George. Ginger, thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us. So we're going to jump right in because we have been playing in the ROAM playground for a while now and absolutely loving it. And so we wanted to get you onto the podcast to find out what ROAM is all about, and obviously what our listeners, our loan originators and real estate agents, can do to be able to use ROAM. So I'm going to let you start off with, what is ROAM?
ROAM is quite simply the office of the future. To break it down a little bit, think virtual headquarters plus AI agents that working together sort of supercharge your productivity, the culture within your organization, and efficiency.
Okay. And a virtual office space, we obviously live in a virtual world. And so, when I saw ROAM, Jon, for me, it was taking a lot of fragmented pieces because, Zoom, we all obviously became very familiar with Zoom during COVID, got really good at it. And Zoom is one piece you use. Calendly is another piece we use for scheduling. So we use that. And then whether you're using Loom or something else as far as screen recording, it's all of those different things, that connection. And that's for me that I saw. It's like pulling all of those things together. And, if someone is using some kind of a communication tool or something like that with their teams, bringing all those together. So talk to me about kind of just beginning with the basics of ROAM. And I see it as this, and we kind of talked about this a little bit in the green room. ROAM is like walking into your virtual office where you have your office space, you have different meeting rooms, you have a bigger theater. So, and that's the thing, it's like you can do large meetings, you can do short meetings. You can, virtually knock on somebody's door. Like George and I, he and I share a space. And so virtually I can knock on his door and say, hey, George, can you meet up real quick? And we can literally just grab a quick little meeting and say, hey, 15 minutes, let's talk about this. Yep. So that's how I see it. For a loan officer, how would they use this? And I want to let's talk about two things here, because our audience is two things: brokers, which are usually solopreneurs, right? So maybe they don't need a virtual office. And then the second thing is, and this is where I see a good opportunity, are mid-sized companies that are, spread maybe throughout a region across the country, that have a problem connecting to be able to create that. So let's talk about first the individual loan officer. So the mortgage broker, how can they use this?
Okay, I think you did a really nice job of better articulating and bringing to life ROAM. Before I get into those two use cases, if I can just elaborate a little bit more on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So as you mentioned, the sort of foundation of ROAM is the map. And what the map does is give you a shared real-time view of everything that's going on in your office, right? Who's in the office, right? Who's logged into the software? Who's not in the office? Who's meeting together? Whose door is locked? And not only do you have that visibility, you also have accessibility. You can go and knock on someone's door and have a chat with them. You can invite someone into your meeting space or office to participate with you and whatever you're doing there. And so the thesis is bringing your entire distributed team together as if they were physically together, and all of the benefits of that, like almost down the hall from one another, right? Visibility, spontaneity, culture, but they could be literally anywhere in the world, but it really does feel like you're together, right? And so that's kind of the foundation. And then you mentioned our sort of all-in-one approach, right? We are kind of 8 features in one. So in addition to the map and drop-in meetings, we also have an enterprise chat platform that is as robust as Slack or Microsoft Teams chat that you might be using. We have an AI note-taking feature like Otter or Fireflies or Fathom. We have an AI screen recorder similar to BombBomb, which I know is used extensively in mortgage and real estate, or Loom. We have a lobby, which is sort of like a Calendly competitor, as you mentioned, and we have a theater that holds thousands of people, backstage green room, whispering in your rows, and many companies and people in real estate and mortgage have started to use the theater for their webinars weekly. It's an elevated experience. You really feel like you've stepped into a theater. And so I'm probably missing, and of course, AI executive assistant. Everybody gets one to help you out with tasks around the office. I may have hit 7 or 8 of the features, but that's largely what we bring to the table with ROAM. So now, getting into your specific use cases, I think for a mid-sized team, they're almost, particularly in mortgage and real estate, going to be definitionally distributed, right? You've got a few people working remotely, maybe you have a small office. And so bringing people together and creating those efficiencies is great. And in fact, so the average meeting time in ROAM is 8 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to pause, right? So if you think about using, Teams or using Zoom, the average meeting time has to be 40 minutes, right? You spend some 30 minutes and some hours. With us, you just knock on some doors, you sort of have these quick pop-ins and spontaneous ad hoc, and the average turns out to be 8 minutes, which we think gives you so much productivity gains and time back in your workday. So medium-sized teams, they're distributed. You want to create efficiencies. You want it, particularly in cultures like real estate and mortgage that have so much collaboration and so many people that have to touch different elements of, whether it's creating a mortgage or time to close.
And just conversations about a file, it's like, what's going on with this file? Talking to an underwriter. I mean, all of those things, when you had the physical office where you could just knock on the door, hey, John, just had a quick question on this. You could have that 2-minute dialogue and be out the room.
Right.
So, and that's what I love. It brings that back in where you don't have to have a scheduled meeting.
Correct.
Where you can just do a quick little, or, say you and I are having a meeting and it's like, say we want to bring George in. It's like, hey, bring George in. The follow-up, and this is new because I know Howard just rolled this out a couple of weeks ago, and that's the AI assistant.
Correct.
And so that's the thing too that I got really excited about, because now that can follow up on those meetings. So I'm going to walk through that. So you have a meeting, and it records. So it has magic minutes. So it records the minutes. It gives you, after the meeting, a recap, as well as action items, right? So here's what George needs to do. Here's what you need to do. Here's what I need to do. Then with your AI assistant, walk me through that. What happens? What's the magic that happens next?
Yeah, it's so interesting. So the AI executive assistant has kind of 4 basic functions. First, it's your eyes and ears in the office. Hey, let me know when George is finished with this meeting. Could you alert me? And when George is done, it will alert you to that, which is cool. It can also schedule meetings. Hey, could you schedule a meeting with Ginger and George for next week, 30 minutes? And it will reconcile calendars and literally set up that meeting for you. It can also send follow-up emails and chats, right? Be sure to send a thank you note to George for this podcast. And then also follow-up tasks. Imagine you're interviewing a new candidate and there's 3 or 4 people that interviewed the person. I want to send my executive assistant, my AI assistant, to solicit feedback from everybody on the candidate and bring it back to me without me having to do all that legwork. So we think that executive assistants historically have been only for the top few people in the company, but it should no longer be a luxury. Everybody should have an executive assistant. Imagine how much more productive your company could be if everybody had an EA.
Wow, that's exactly why ROAM is so important right now, because of that.
Yeah. And because we have chats and we have meeting notes and we have your whiteboards, the AI can actually leverage all of those digital pieces of we're sort of digitizing the office, and it can reference those things and deliver to you better results, more powerful results more quickly, which we think, look, the future is very clearly humans and AIs working side by side. We may have created a little bit by accident the perfect kind of UX for that, where all the data is there and the AI can see, oh wait, George and Ginger are in a meeting right now, I'm not going to bother them. Or it comes and knocks on my door after George leaves the meeting. It's very powerful, and really makes companies, this is important, every company wants to be AI first, knows that they need to be AI first. Simply joining ROAM, the office of the future, will make you an AI first company, given all of the tools that we have.
Yeah, exactly. So another thing, and we're going to obviously get into some deep dives, we call them hive dives later on. But one of the things in focusing on when you are a loan originator, and you can have that collaboration in your teams, but if you're an independent, if you're a mortgage broker, and you're like, hey, John, I don't have all those teams, I don't need all that. That's okay, because you're still doing meetings with your borrowers, right? So it takes those meeting notes, can send the follow-up, you can assign things on your assistant. So that's one of the things to do. The other thing is you can hold your educational webinars. So what you used to do in Zoom with your webinars or GoToWebinar, you can do that. And so that's a thing. You can also use, the added benefit of recording your screen. And this is what I love, because it's one of those, it records your screen and you, where you're in your screen if you're doing a loan estimate or something like that. And then the final thing is you can add guests. So you can add your real estate agents as guests to where they can communicate with you, and you can create groups and things like that. So you can create a group for an office. If you have a real estate office, you can put all the real estate agents in there, and be able to communicate with them. So that's in terms, and I like people to think in the bigger picture of, it's not just me, it's not just your communication, but it's being able to really create a community of people who can communicate. And so that's a great benefit I see.
The one thing I will add, I agree with everything you said. The one thing I will add, so Lobby is our Calendly competitor. And so everyone has their own vanity URL, ro.am /John/Ginger. And then you can create links to send to people to schedule on your calendar, right? So I have a VIP link. I've got a, one-on-one link. So you can schedule in the future. But the other great thing about ROAM is we know when you're in the office, we know when you're meeting with someone, we know when you're free. And so if you want, you can set the Lobby link to allow people to drop in on you in real time. So they can schedule something with you for a few days from now, or if you're available now, they can literally drop in and boom, they're in your ROAM, they're in your office knocking on your door and talking to you. And so you could also embed this in your website. So we're sort of turning websites from pamphlets into like showrooms. And the person is available right now. Right. They are literally on your website, or they're scheduling something. And so rather than have breakage if they don't show up for the meeting, or wait, time kills all deals, as we know, get them in now. And we think that's part of this sort of AI future, this always on 24/7, if you want it. Which we're really excited about.
I love that. Well, so many great tools, and I want to thank you for bringing your expertise. Thank you for what you all have built with ROAM. It's absolutely fabulous. I know you're adding new, different tools and features to it. So if you're listening and you want to find out more about ROAM, you can go to ROAM Rocks. It's a special site that we have set up. We're creating a lot of different training tools and everything specific to the mortgage and real estate industry, so you can go there. And John, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you on another episode.
My pleasure. Thank you both so much.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to the AI Beehive Podcast, where real estate and mortgage pros get the buzz on all things AI. Don't forget to subscribe, share the buzz, and visit www.aibeehive.com to keep building your smarter business. Until next time.